In this video, we'll be talking about partial derivatives because my first partial derivatives video was dog shit. But let's go ahead and talk about the notation first. So what is a partial derivative notation? Well, the notation uses delta instead of d this time. I guess you could still use d, and like people understand what you mean, but the notation will be using delta now. Okay, and if you want to take the partial derivative with respect to x, you write x at the bottom of the delta. If you want to take the partial derivative with respect to y, you write y at the bottom. All right, this is the notation that you're going to get. If you want to take with respect to z, then you write z. But you use delta for partial derivatives. It's really no different than d over dx. Okay, well, how about another notation? Well, you can write the notation as well like this. If your function, let's actually state this first. If your function is a function of x, y, which equals z, all right, usually x, y is equal to z, then you can write down f of x, and this represents the first order partial derivative with respect to x. This represents the first order with one x. If you write another x, this represents the second order. Write another x, third order. This right here is the first order y partial, and when you learn about higher order partial derivatives, you're going to get f of xy. That means you first take the x partial, then you take the y partial. So the order in which you write the letters matter. This is you take the y partial first and then the x partial. But let's specify this about partial derivatives. Partial derivatives follow the same rules, and actually they have the same logic related to derivatives. Especially when you learn about gradients, you're still going to learn that tangent lines come into play here, the slope of tangent lines. But they follow the same rules. You're going to follow power rule. You're going to follow product rule, quotient rule, everything like that, okay? Chain rule, I'm writing this really fast because I'm talking really fast. But you're going to follow all the same rules. But the only nuance is, if you take the partial derivative of x and you have some function of xy, y is treated as a constant. So when you take the x partial, any other variable that is not x will be treated as a constant. So if you want to take the derivative of some constant, like 1, well, the derivative of 1 is just 0. So any other variable other than the derivative you are partially differentiating with respect to will be treated as a constant. You'll get what I mean by that when you do the video. When you do the problems. What do you mean when you do the video? You guys aren't the YouTuber. All right. But one last thing. How I mentioned tangent lines. Well, when you learn about gradients, tangent lines will come into play. And also partial derivatives come into play with tangent lines. The partial derivative is the slope of the tangent line in the direction of the x-axis or the y-axis you are taking, whatever you're taking the derivative with respect to. And I actually have a Desmos visualization if you want to see that in my gradients video. I'll put the link down in the description for you guys if you're curious. But let's go ahead and move on to some problems right now. That's enough introducing and talking. Let's go ahead and take the partial x derivative and the partial y derivative for this function. So the function is 2x squared plus 3y. Let's go ahead and take the x partial first. So the x partial, remember, looks like this if you write it in Leibniz notation. But when you take the x partial, every other variable other than x is treated as a constant. So x, good. Y, constant. If the z in your function, it's also a constant, right? When you start learning triple variable stuff rather than just x, y, you're going to have z as one of the variables inside of your function. But keep that in mind. If you take the x partial, every other variable is a constant. So if you take the x partial of this term, 2x squared, well, it's simply power rule, right? 4x is your partial derivative with respect to x for this part of this term of the function. But how about this next term? Well, since y is treated as a constant, if you multiply two constants together, 3 and y, well, you would get some constant, right? So 3 and y are two constants multiplied together, you would get some constant as an output. So if you want to take the derivative of this term with respect to x, it would just be 0, since we're treating y as a constant. So the true partial derivative of this is 4x. And maybe if this helps, right, like a very common variable to use as a constant is k instead of general formulas. So if it helped, you can replace y with k. You know, if it helped in your case, of course. And obviously this would be training wheels at the beginning because it's quite tedious to do that every single time. But if it helps with your visualization and stuff like that, this could work. Just replace every single y variable, every other variable that is not x with k, and then take the derivative of this. 3 times k, constant times constant, take the derivative of that, you get some constant. You get 0, sorry. Okay, that's enough talking about constant this, constant that. Let's go ahead and take the y partial of this. So the y partial takes the derivative of this function, the partial derivative of this function with respect to y. So now we treat every other variable other than y as a constant. So x is a constant now. If x is some constant, well, it's 2 times a constant squared. And you want to take the derivative of just some constant. I'm saying constant a lot. But if you want to take the derivative of this entire section, well, it'll just be 0, right? Because if you take the derivative of a constant, well, you get nothing. You get 0. And if you want to take the derivative of 3y, well, simply just 3. So I know this example won't apply for many things, so later on, so stay tuned for the future questions, because those will, if you can solve the future questions I have in this video comfortably, then you'll be very, very comfortable with partial derivatives in the future for Calculus 3. Or maybe you're just watching this video to review, of course. So let's go ahead and find the x partial first for this function. If we find the x partial, maybe I'll make more space for each. So if we find the x partial, remember we're treating y as a constant. So y is some coefficient in this case. It's quote unquote a coefficient of your function x squared. So if you wanted to take the x partial of this, simply if there's a coefficient, you just ignore it when you take some power rule derivative. X squared's derivative is 2x, and you just multiply it by your coefficient. So your derivative of this term is 2x to 2xy. How about the second part? Well, remember y is treated as a constant, so it's some coefficient. You can kind of separate the function to look like this: 3k squared. Remember what I said about k as a constant times x. And if you want to take the derivative of some coefficient times x, well, you would just get your resulting coefficient as your derivative. So this right here is the derivative of the second term. And remember, we treated y as a constant because we took the x partial. Well, how about if we take the y partial? Well, if we take the y partial, x is treated as a constant. So x squared, well, this is x is treated as a constant being squared is still a constant, so therefore this part is sort of like the coefficient of this term of the function. So if you take the derivative of some coefficient multiplied by the variable, then you just get left off with the coefficient. And in this case, it's x squared. Treated x as a constant. So now we find the y partial of the second term. Well, since y is being squared and x is treated as a constant now, we need to just do power rule on y. So if you bring the two down, right, using power rule, you get 6xy as your y partial. So for this function, we need to use chain rule now, right? So f of x partial first. Let's bring these down, of course. So the x partial, again, treats y as a constant. I'm going to keep repeating it because that's an important thing to know. Treats y as a constant. So if you take the derivative of any function, e to the power of something, it's just e to the power of the same thing, right? But remember, we need to use chain rule on this. So we need to find the derivative, or the x partial of the inner function, xy, and the derivative of the x partial of xy is simply y, right? If we treat y as a constant, this is a coefficient times x, you usually get left off with the coefficient. So that means the derivative of this, the x partial, sorry, is e to the power of xy times y. All right, what about the y partial? Well, again, e to the power of anything is just itself. But this time we take the y partial for chain rule. So the y partial for xy, or the chained function, inner function, is x. Right? We treat x as the constant now in this case. So technically this is a coefficient times a variable. Take the derivative of that, you get just the coefficient. So that means the y partial is e to the power of xy times x. Alright, I'm going to do this one quite quickly because it's the same thing as the same concept as the last problem. It's just chain rule. Then we'll get into some product rule, partial derivative stuff and quotient rule. I hate those. They're both tedious as hell. But let's go ahead and find the x partial for this. So the x partial for this function, well, the derivative of anything, natural logarithm is 1 over what's ever inside the parentheses. So it's 1 over x squared plus 2y. All right, now we need to chain rule this. Well, if we chain the inner function, x squared plus y squared, and we take the x partial of this inner function, you just get 2x, right? Y squared is a constant. Take the derivative of the constant, you just get 0. So we multiply this by 2x, and this right here is the derivative, x partial, sorry, of our function f. This is 2x, x squared plus y squared. We'll do the same thing with y squared. The concept is still the same. Now we take the y partial of the inner function, which is x squared plus y squared, and that is 2y. So our y partial is 2y over x squared plus y squared. So sometimes you're going to get very nice looking functions for certain partial derivatives, and sometimes you're going to get very ugly looking functions for certain other partial derivatives. In this case, taking the y partial is significantly easier than taking the y partial, than taking the x partial, sorry. So let's go ahead and take the x partial first. Let's get the hard thing over with. So the x partial, well, as you can tell, since y is treated as a constant here, we can kind of just delete that from our memory for now. And what we have here are two functions that are in terms of x, ln of 2x plus y squared and x squared. Therefore, we need to use product rule in this case. So if we use product rule, we take the derivative of some first function times 2x plus y squared. So this is what I'm doing right here, f prime times g plus f times g prime. And in this case, f is the first function and g is the second function. And this is what product rule is. So I took the derivative of f, which is just x squared. You get 2x, and I just leave g alone for now. So now we just need to write down f again, which is x squared. And we need to find g prime, which is the derivative of g. And since we're taking this in terms of x, correct, this is the x partial, we need to take the x partial of the natural logarithm of 2x plus y squared. So take the natural logarithm of anything, you get that over a fraction, so you get 2x plus y squared, but of course we need to chain rule this. If you chain rule the inner function inside of this logarithm, 2x plus y squared, with respect to x, you just get 2. So if I were to simplify this entire thing, let's actually solve for the rest of it and solve for this term first. But if we solve for the last term, of course, this is still an x partial, so y is treated as a constant, so all we need to do is power rule the x. So we have 6, so we brought down the 2, multiplied by the 3 to get 6. 6y cubed times x. Alright, simplify everything for you guys. This is 2x, natural logarithm of 2x plus y squared plus 2x squared over 2x plus y squared minus 6y to the power of 3x. Alright, how about the y partial? Well, the y partial is significantly easier because, well, since x is treated as a constant with the y partial, we don't need to do product rule in this part. There's no product rule to do here. Since x is a constant, this is not two functions multiplied by each other. Technically, this is just a constant times a function of y. All right, so if we want to take the y partial of this part right here, all we need to do is take the derivative of the natural logarithm. So 1 over 2x plus y squared, and then and multiply it by x squared, since x squared was in the beginning. And we just need to chain the inner function. And if we chain the inner function 2x plus y squared with respect to y, we just get 2y. All right, now I just want to take the y partial of this term. Y partial of this term is, of course, power rule. Bring down the 3. We get 9y squared x squared. So these right here, maybe if I want to simplify this. Nah, this is fine. Once you get it really in this form, your teacher will probably give you full credit. Like Calculus 3 is less about algebra, more about the actual calculus. But keep in mind, you can only apply product rule and quotient rule if and only if it's a function, if and only if you have two functions multiplied together, right? You have two functions multiplied or divided by each other. That's only time when you take product rule. Since we're taking the y partial here, this is not two functions of y multiplied by together. Since x is treated as some constant, this is not two functions of y. So keep that in mind. Pattern recognition will kick in, of course, once you do this more and more. Practice makes perfect. But, I think this should be it for the video. I have to go to my grandparents' birthday party. We're going to go to a Chinese restaurant, of course. But, as always, if you have any questions, put it in the comment section. And if you found this video helpful, consider subscribing and liking the video. Now, one last thing. If you want to know what the x partial and y partial actually does, maybe Calculus 1, you remember that maybe I should have explained at the beginning.